everybody. Welcome to the Photo Booth Magazine. And we have today our guest, Ed Altounian, is going to be joining us very shortly. This is going to be our fourth episode. And on this episode, we're going to talk to Ed Altounian about his endeavors in the DJ business and how he got into the photo booth business. And we'll just wait for him for just a little bit. Just to remind you guys that on our website, photoboothmagazine.com, you can find out all the information on how to join the show, etc. Let me just see if we can get Ed. Hopefully, Ed, you can join us here very shortly. Having some technical difficulties on his side. But on photoboothmagazine.com, you can find out all the information. I'm going to go show you guys the website just a little bit here while we're waiting for Ed to jump on. We have information on where you can see the live streams. That's on Facebook at the Photo Booth Magazine Facebook group, also the Photo Booth Network Facebook group, as well as on YouTube where we're live streaming, and you can catch the shows there in case you missed them.
And like and subscribe on the YouTube.
Yeah.
The more you like it, the more you share it, the more you subscribe. Click the little like button, share it other places. That helps us grow and gain more audiences and reach more people.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And
we want to reach everybody in the industry.
Yeah, and there's a lot of the things that we're putting into these videos, like some tips that we're finding that we've utilized in our own days, so to speak. And really, last week we talked about some things you can add to your photo booth area to make it pop so people can find you. And the uplighting was the ending subject where you've got this backdrop behind you, just like you see behind me. It draws people's eyes towards it. Hey, there's Ed. We got him now. He's coming in. Oh, his camera's not working, but that's okay. We'll get to him when he gets his camera figured out. But yeah, some uplighting behind that really behind the backdrop, because sometimes you get stuck in a dark room and the venue's got lights all around and most people won't even notice a photo booth. Well, I've been finding that that's really been helping me out. And some of our other buddies out there as well, they've been doing fantastic adding that in the recent weeks. George Velasco has been using that. I don't know if you guys know his name. He's a really cool photo booth, a good friend of ours. And he's shared some of the pictures and he's incorporating that in his events, and it's fantastic. Ed, welcome back.
I'm back. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fantastically.
Okay. So I don't know what happened. I when you switch things around, all of a sudden my camera went blank. I don't know.
It's like a magic
dropped out, but I'm here.
Yeah, you're here. We got it fixed, and you got stuff going on behind you too. So for our audience out there, if you hear noises, that's Ed's backprops, like cranking away, getting those ready for customers.
It's finished. It just finished actually.
So did it really? That might have been it.
I think we'll be done. Maybe that was it. A little power surge or something. Camera went out. Yeah. So it's done. We're good.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad it worked out. I was getting nervous there. I thought I was going to have to carry on the show and ad hoc it the whole way. I'm like, oh no, what am I going to talk about? But we'll always find stuff to talk about.
Yeah. You are never at a loss for words, Art.
What are you trying to say?
I'm just saying you are never at a loss for words.
I do talk a lot. I'm sorry. But hey, I try to have fun. That's why we're here, right?
That's it.
Yeah. Definitely. So, Ed, tell us your story. So you are from Michigan, right?
I am. Little quick background. I started in the DJ business about 22 years ago. I worked for another company for a couple of years and then started on my own a few years after that. And then a while back, I want to say probably about 9-10 years ago, I got into photo booths. And the first thing that caught my attention was a wedding I was doing. They had a photo booth. The guy's like, yeah, come on over. I'll show you. You take a few photos. That's the photo that you used in the promo. That was the very first time I've ever used a photo booth. And I thought it was awesome. I'm like, this is really cool. Maybe I got into the wrong line of business. I should be doing this. This is so much fun. But I thought, well, why not add it on? And that's what I did. And about 9 years ago, started with my very first photo booth.
Yeah. So this is that photo there you're talking about right here, right?
Yep.
This one? Yep. That was your very first photo booth.
Yep. I
That's
had a little fun with it. I brought my headphones into the booth, and
dude,
yeah,
that's the way it starts. It seems like all three of us, like you, Dave, myself, we all started off watching some other photo booth roll in while we're DJing, and
right,
man,
yeah,
that looks like a lot of fun, and it just snowballs
yeah.
from there. So
It's the same thing with even the DJ business. I got started into music, and one thing leads to another. You DJ clubs, and then you're doing weddings, and yeah, it just keeps rolling.
it steamrolls when, and that's how you know you're doing a good job when you start off
Yeah.
small and you keep getting requests for extra services. I started off as a karaoke DJ way back
Okay. Yeah.
when, and I'm running a karaoke show, and this couple comes up and say, "Hey, do you do weddings?" I said, "Yeah, sure I do. I can give it a shot," and because it was a friend of a friend, and after that, I just kept getting more referrals, and what started off as just a couple pieces of equipment grew into a whole garage that I'm getting yelled at by my wife for buying too much stuff. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so you created your first booth, right? And you sent
Did.
us.
Yeah. I looked into it. I thought about, oh, I'll just buy a booth, and then I found out how much they were at the time, and it was kind of way out of my budget. And I said, well, maybe I can make a booth. And I saw actually on Dave's site there was quite a few people talking about making booths, and that
Mhm.
led to other sites about building your own and whatnot. And joined a couple of those and watched what they were doing, and I had a few ideas from what I wanted to do, and I wanted to make it small, compact, but still upgradable. So what you're seeing here is my key box photo booth. This is actually a valet key box that I customized and created my photo booth from. I just kind of drew everything out as I was going. I knew things that I wanted to have on it. I wanted to have speakers because the software I use is Spark Booth, and so it talks and things like that. And I wanted to make it easy to set up, easy to carry, easy to upgrade, modify, things like that. And I think it worked out pretty good. The other thing I wanted was a screen on the back, so I found a project screen for the Raspberry Pis. It's the same size as the screen on a Surface Pro, or at the time I was using a Winbook. That was
Mhm.
the thing with the do-it-yourselfers who couldn't afford the $800, $900 for a Surface Pro. This is what we started out with, using that and a Logitech C920. That C920 is what I'm actually doing the video with today, the stream. I'm now using a Surface Pro and a Logitech Brio, which is 4K, and it does some really nice shots. But yeah, it was really easy to upgrade, just a simple switch out of everything, and works pretty good. I have not had a problem with it. I've never had an issue with my booth, which is nice. And I have two of them, by the way.
Oh wow! So you built two of those.
I built two. Yeah, after I built the first one, I'm like, I actually used to have photo booth attendants. Way before COVID, I was running two booths, two DJs. Life was good. And then things kind of took a change. Just everything with COVID, and prior to that, just you could tell certain people weren't really wanting to work as much. So I thought, let's get rid of the stress, and I'll bring it back down to just me, and my wife runs the photo booth. That's a sample shot from one of our events,
Yeah,
so you can kind of see quality is pretty good.
and the quality is really good. So a lot of companies back in the day didn't have all the options that they do today, and I would gather most of the booths were DIY booths in the very beginning, and it really
Right.
speaks to it's not really
My
about the
first,
shell. What's that, Dave?
I said my first few booths, were DIY myself. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
Yep.
I used IKEA cabinets for my first couple.
I've seen a few that are just super impressive. The ones that really kind of blew me away. There's a guy who makes a round photo booth out of fan boxes, round
I've
fan
seen that.
boxes. And it's
Yep.
it's so impressive looking because it's not your normal, it's not a square, it's round, and it wasn't purchased somewhere. The guy made it. So that's, to me, that's kind of impressive that he managed to fit everything in a round enclosure, and it looks good.
There's a whole Facebook group for that too.
Yeah, yeah, I'm on that. I'm on that too. Yep. Yeah, I enjoy looking at the stuff he makes. It's pretty impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, and the quality of the pictures. So it doesn't always have to be the best looking booth. It's all about. But Dave, what did you say? It was the experience and the quality of the pictures. And so you've got that quality
It's
when
all
you.
about the experience.
Right. Yeah, it is. It's an experience. If you want a photographer, hire a photographer. That's what I've always said. If you want, a good time to entertain your guests, most photo booths will do that, as long as they're, decent quality, you get decent output pictures and, you got some nice props for them to have some fun, in the photo booth. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, you're in the middle between Detroit and Lansing.
Yeah.
So, we're going to have topics on this show coming up in the next few weeks. Next week, we've got Jordan St. Jacques going to be talking to us about SEO. But, knowing that you're not in a major city like Detroit or Lansing, but you're stuck in the middle, kind of almost in the middle of nowhere, so to speak, and a lot of us are. How did you drum up your business?
A lot of it is word of mouth. A lot of it. I get some great client feedback. That really helps. My wife is kind of like above and beyond when it comes to the photo booth. I mean, you've got your normal attendant who will kind of just, rearrange props and hand out photos. My wife goes above and beyond. If we get an older couple that comes through, she's got to walk them through every step so they feel comfortable, because you get somebody who's like, grandpa comes through, he's like 75 years old. He's never used a photo booth, most likely. And my wife will show him everything. And by the time he walks out of there, he feels so comfortable. He wants to come back and he's going through there like left and right, and that's just how it works. And then she'll reorganize the props, tell everybody, we got a scrapbook. Here's what we're doing. She's very, very good when it comes to guiding people and also super friendly. So that works out really good to my benefit.
Like I said, it goes back to the experience that you're creating for your guests. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of times the guests don't really care about, the equipment that you have. They care about, how you make them feel,
The
how it
experience.
was, the experience that they're having in your booth at the
Mm-hmm.
time, you know, helps really elevate an event, whether it be a wedding or, a birthday party or anything.
Mhm.
Right.
It's it's
And I
like
try to offer, oh, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
I was going to say, I try and offer a lot of options like, various backdrops, different props. We have a pretty good selection of props. I add a lot of different things into my package. Like I know there's a lot of boothers out there who'll say, oh, if you want more than so many photos, it's extra. You know, media is media. I mean, unless you're running short, you shouldn't be telling somebody, oh, we can't print extra photos for you. You're going to print them for everybody. And at the end of the night, they're going to go, I can't believe everybody got pictures,
Mhm.
it makes a big difference. And then I give them a digital copy as well. So they get a little bit of both. And then scrapbooks are included when they buy a package with DJ.
It makes it so
I
much
don't charge
easier.
that.
And
Yeah.
people, I was thinking about this the other night, that it really is an experience. It's almost like going to an amusement park and you're ready to get on that ride. We are the ride of the show, technically.
Yep.
We're one of the rides, right? You've got the DJ part, and there might be some other stuff going on too. The food itself is an experience, but people want to be treated like it's a ride, like it's they've been gearing up for this event, and a lot of money is spent on these events. So there's something you said that has also been in the back of my mind.
Not
Is
on the DJs or photo booths, mostly just the cakes
yeah.
is what I'm.
But the word attendant, right? So that's something that's kind of been itching at me for a long time, calling people attendants. Everybody can run their business how they want. I don't call my guys attendants, they're directors. Because really, if you think about it, they are directing a miniature movie or a scene. You've got
Right.
props. You're telling them where to stand, where to look, how to smile, tilt your glasses, and that's the interaction part that a director does. And I went to I was just kind of filming at one of my events, and I went up to my director and I said, "We're not assistants, are we?" He said, "No, we're directors. Assistants are for gas stations." Or attendants. Attendants are for gas stations. I'm like, that's exactly right, because you just sit there and you pump gas. So do you have somebody who's just sitting there pumping gas, or somebody who's like giving you a full experience, right? This is
You
something.
mentioned that recently. I don't know where it was. It might have been on PBN, but I saw somebody refer to attendants as hosts, and I like that too.
That's a good one too.
That,
I
Absolutely.
thought that was.
that's what I use.
I actually thought I'm going to change it to host. I like
Hmm.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I use for my staff is when I reach out to the customer and say, you know, Art's going to be your host for your booth in, tomorrow night or whatever. It's something different.
It is.
It's like you
Attendant is
said,
just so, it's boring,
right?
in all honesty. So marketing word of mouth, that's fantastic. I mean, that's the best way. That's the best kind of referrals too.
Right.
I can't think of anything that's better than that. So your website, you've got a website up, and you get some traffic through there because you rank for the DJ business, and I'm assuming that that's a
Right.
good package add-on, right?
Right. Right. And most of my photo booth clients do come from the DJ side, even if they're not booking a DJ. They may come back later and say, hey, you know what? We're doing some event and we don't need a DJ, but we want your photo booth. And I've had that happen quite a bit actually. And that's how a lot of my photo booth referrals come through. Of course, just like everybody else, I do Google ads, I do Facebook ads,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. But yeah, word of mouth is definitely the biggest one. I've been a DJ for 22 years. So we kind of have a recognized name in the area, and that helps a lot.
It's huge. So any of the photo boothers that are just starting out now, what advice would you give them? What kind of roadblocks could they avoid in the beginning that you've experienced?
Okay, definitely. One thing you got to do is you got to be professional. Don't never put somebody else down. Never put another company down, another boother down. Um, you can say this is why my company is better than others, not better than so and so. You don't want to call anybody out. You can tell people why they should pick you over everybody else. That's important. I think you don't want to call somebody out because then it looks like it's like kindergarten. There's too much of that on social media as it is, and people don't want to hear that. So you gotta sell yourself, not sell yourself and say, oh, so and so is no good. There's lots of companies out there that aren't good. There's lots of companies out there that are good. In my area, there's a couple guys that one runs both DJ and photo booth, and we trade referrals all the time because I know he's a pro and he knows I'm a pro, and I don't have a problem doing that. It helps both of us out, and I think that's the way it should be for everybody. Get to know the other people in your industry, in your area, talk to them, find out what they're doing, and be kind, but don't steal their ideas or anything like that. But kind of learn from what they're doing and see how you can maybe improve upon that without hurting them.
Yeah, I think there's so much
Wait,
business out there.
wait, Ed, you
Yeah,
actually give business to your competition. Is that what
I
you're
do.
saying?
I do. Yes. Yep. When I'm booked, because I'm now a solo op. It's me and my wife. So when I fill up, I absolutely refer leads, and I get referrals from them all the time too. So it works out. There's only so many Saturdays in the year that you can do a wedding. So
Hmm.
keep that in mind. Definitely refer other people that you trust and that are gonna do a good job. You definitely want to pass them on to somebody else.
No,
Yeah.
it's the reason I said that was jokingly, but there's because there's all these arguments on the boards that when somebody posts about, oh, I can't believe that such and such DJ or such and such photo booth company in my area, I would never do anything to help them. I've built such a local network of friends, not competition, friends, because you know I want to see them succeed as much as myself, if not more, because you know it's not a race. We're there's enough business out there for everybody. There's no reason why we can't share with each other.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
like a situation, Ed, so I don't know if you knew this, but Dave would be technically somewhat competition for me, but we're kind of in the same area. We cover a lot. I had him do my brother's wedding. I didn't. I was like, you know what? I don't want to hire my own guys to come and work. I don't want to have to oversee. Like, Dave, can you come do my brother's wedding? And he said, sure. So, not only
It's
hiring competition for yourself is a wonderful thing. I got another guy down the road, um, who's competition, but it's not really competition because we're friends. I've given him advice to increase his setup and the offerings that he has, and we trade gigs back and forth. So he can't do something, send it to me. I can't do something, send it to him, and the quality's the same. Next week he's coming over to borrow Backdrop. So having it's not even competition, it's advocates, it's associates, it's
Yep.
extra referral and taking care of each other.
Yeah, the guy that I refer occasionally, for weddings and stuff, he actually he hired me to do his wedding. So
Isn't that cool?
yeah, it's kind of funny. He's like, I guess they say you're supposed to hire a professional. He goes, I can't do my own wedding, and so I want to hire you. And I was like really surprised, and then so I did his wedding, and we've been for good friends ever since. I trade, In fact, here's the funny thing: the plate, the steel plate that I use for my photo booths, the weighted plate
Uh-huh.
that goes on the ground. I had that made, and he was a welder, and he welded it for me.
Ah,
So,
oh.
so there you go.
Yeah, there's plenty of business out there. There's no reason why not to
Yeah.
make friends. If for some strange reason you're sick and your guys can't make it, and you got another company you can like count on,
Oh,
that's
definitely.
what's
Yep.
awesome.
Yep. That's how I met another guy that I refer. I had an emergency come up, and super professional. Talk to him, and now we refer leads too. So I've got a couple of guys that I send leads to, and they send leads to me. That's great. You got to make a network,
Oh,
definitely.
absolutely, 100%.
Well, speaking of networks, just so everybody knows, there is actually a Michigan photo booth
Yep.
group.
Oh,
So, if anybody's in that area and you're looking to learn or, you know, network with other photo booth operators, there's a group out there for you.
are you part of that, Ed?
I am. We don't see a lot of traffic on there, but yeah, I'm on the group. Another thing that is based in Michigan, sort of, Spark Booth, the software that I use. Joe Connell, who's the kind of go-to guru for help on Spark Booth, is based right here in Michigan. So he's always available to chat. Hey, Skype me, and I'll help you through your problems and whatnot. Um, I know back in the day when I was first getting started with it, he was a big help. So
The Spark booth?
And if anybody's wondering who Joe is, if you've been to the expo, he's the one that's in the lobby looking to help everybody with Spark Booth.
yep, Joe's always helping.
He's a great guy. He really is.
Yeah.
I'm just
And
looking.
it's a good product. And that was one of the original products, that kind of came out early on that people don't
Yep.
realize.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't have him as part of the vendor directory, so thank you, Ed. I'm going to go ahead and add Spark booth, right, to our vendor directory.
Yep.
So if anybody was wondering, Photo Booth Magazine also has a directory on here where you can find out. And I'm trying to, if there's some vendors out there, some manufacturers that don't see themselves on the Photo Booth Magazine vendor directory, let me know. It's info@photoboothmagazine.com. We'll get you on here. I've got them categorized: photo booth companies, backdrop companies, prop companies, software and CRM. So no, Spark Booth is not on there, so I'll have to add them on their printers, templates. So thanks.
So, Ed, you have such a unique product. Where would you fit in this?
I've got them in there already. I put them under backdrops.
You have
Yeah.
vendor backdrops. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tell us, Ed. So now that's a good segue because you're this photo DJ turned photo booth or a combination, and you created something called Backprop. So tell us the story
Yeah.
about Backprop, and I've got some images here that we're gonna.
Yeah. So obviously everybody was shut down in 2020, and there was no difference here. I mean, we were shut down, we were locked down, and when we finally got to 2021, most of my reschedules were still, like, hey, we can't have indoor events, or they can only have so many people, so we're going to do an outdoor event. We're going to get a tent, have it in the backyard somewhere. I'm like, great, this sounds fun. A bunch of outdoor weddings. I kind of enjoy them. And it can get hot here in Michigan, but I always go prepared. So my only thought was this. I had just bought these new backdrops, these pillow frame style backdrops. And I had done one event outside prior to that back in late 2019 in the fall. And I knew at that point I had trouble keeping that thing stable. I mean, I think I had my rock and roller cart on the bases trying to hold it still, and it still kept wanting to blow over. I ended up bungee cording it to my Easy Up that I was using for the DJ area. And that's how I kept it from falling over on people. But I'm like, this is tacky looking. It's not good. I got to do something about this. So we got to 2021. I'm like, I got to figure something out because I got a bunch of outdoor weddings with photo booths coming up. What am I going to do? So this was kind of born out of necessity. And I thought, okay, maybe if I could take, kind of like a picture frame and have like a little kickstand coming off the back, maybe that would help keep it up. And then I'm trying to think of, okay, so how do I keep it from blowing the other way? Well, maybe if I stake those, that kickstand down to the ground, that'll work. So with a bunch of PVC tubing and some, plumber's glue and all that good stuff, and hacksaw and some gaff tape and some neoprene wrapping and all kinds of stuff, I came up with this. And I used a bungee cord to keep the two together so they kind of grip onto the sides. And I said, okay, well, we're doing an outdoor event. Let's take it, set it up, and see how it looks and how it works. And, probably won't need it. Boy, was I wrong.
Yeah, look at
We
that.
had a storm roll in.
So that's that storm right there. That picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 35-mile-an-hour gusts. I mean, it was bad. We really thought the tent was going to go because if you back up one photo there,
Yeah.
and you look, you can see there's like the posts for the tent along the side.
Yeah.
Well, a couple of those had lifted off the ground and were like, we thought the tent was going. We thought, okay. But out of all of that, I had to move my DJ gear in like 10 feet because the rain was driving in so hard. The backdrop never moved. Never moved. You can see I got weighted bags down at the bottom.
Oh yeah.
I got those legs going out and staked into the ground in the back. And then the other nice little saving feature that I wasn't expecting was that blackout curtain that PB Backdrop sells.
Okay.
I didn't even think about it. It's vinyl. So it kept the backdrop dry for the most part. I mean, it was a little wet, but it was still mostly dry. So that was a nice little save
I didn't know
too.
about that. I mean, I've heard about those backdrops and the blackout ones. I didn't know they were vinyl. That's a good idea.
I don't know if they're still vinyl. I got one of the very first ones because as soon as he said that, I'm like, I got a bunch of outdoor events. I'm buying it.
That's
so
great.
I bought that right away. So yeah, I posted this picture. Well, not this picture, but the picture from the event on PBN. I'm like, I want to share my little idea, see what people think. And immediately I had like 4 or 5 people like, hey, sell me one. And I said, did you see it? I can't sell that. That looks like garbage.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, there's no way I can sell that to anybody. It looks terrible. And not only that, it's bulky, it's big, you can barely fit it in the case. Well, later that year in October, again, another great connection, a former DJ of mine who had quit for another job. We're still good friends, but he goes, I want to thank you for all the years you treated me really good. He goes, I got a 3D printer I want to give you. I'm like, what? Me not knowing how much they're valued at, I thought, well, this is crazy. He wants to give me a $2,000 printer or something. Apparently they're not that much, but he's like, here, take it. Now, so I started learning. I've always been good with like design things. Obviously you've seen the photo booth, good with, mechanics and drawing things out, diagramming and whatnot. So I took to AutoCAD and I came up and designed the parts that I was needing. The ones you see right there. I've actually got.
Yeah, let's see what you got.
One of them right here. This just came off the printer about a half hour ago.
Oh,
this
nice.
is what I call grip. And this actually grips onto the side of your backdrop stand. The only thing I tell people is you got to make sure that it's a printed backdrop and not a sequined one, or you'll rip your sequins off, because it does have a little bit of movement on it. It won't damage anything. This one is brand new. It doesn't have anything in it. There's a neoprene liner that goes inside here that protects your backdrop. And then down at the bottom, it's connected by aluminum pole to this guy here, which I call an anchor plate.
Uh-huh.
And still got a little string hanging on them. And stake goes through here. You stake this into the ground, and then there's connected with these holes using what I call lock pins, and the whole thing becomes really secure. And then the two grips also have a connector that goes from one side to the other, and that kind of puts like a pair of hands on each side of your backdrop to keep it in place. And it does move a little bit, but not much. And you want it to move a little bit so that it's not too rigid. But the nice thing is it's enough to where it's not going anywhere. It's just gonna take up a little bit of slack when it moves.
That's good, because you
Like
want
I
a
said,
little bit of movement.
yeah. Like I said, 35-mile-an-hour gusts. I had no idea that was gonna hold up to that, and it did. It was like, I thought, man, if this holds up to 10 miles an hour, it'll be great. And here we had 35 miles an hour, and I was shocked. And I don't recommend you set up in like a crazy hurricane or storm or anything like that, because you don't want to lose anything. But
I just can't wait.
safety first.
I can't wait to see, like, just somebody rolling through as a tropical storm on some island, and like you said,
Yeah,
Hawaii. I think is one of your top spots, right?
yeah. So biggest states are California, obviously, and then secondly Hawaii. So thank you to everybody in Hawaii who's purchased the product. I really appreciate that. I just had one go out today to Hawaii. I also offer the new 43 millimeter version for the larger heavy duty stands
Okay.
that were released middle of the year.
Yep.
And I have a lot of testimonials on my Facebook page. If you go to the Facebook page, you'll see a lot of people have made comments. I usually try and turn those into ads as they come in, because that's great feedback, hearing somebody say, hey, we really liked your product, or it was so windy the other day. I remember there was somebody in California, and they were up on the side of a hill somewhere or something, and they actually got an alert on their phone, a wind advisory alert, stating that severe winds and this and that, and they said it didn't budge. So it's great to hear things like that.
Yeah.
Kind of makes me feel good that's working. Yeah, there's one of my ads there.
I love it. That's great.
I like to be creative with the ads too.
Oh yeah, here's this piece. So what's this piece right here? This that we're
So
looking
that's
at.
the 43 millimeter version, and
Okay.
I actually have that sitting right here.
Oh, perfect.
So what I did is I actually made a 43 millimeter rod myself, because I don't own a 43 millimeter backdrop, and then custom fit it to fit this larger grip.
Okay. That's really cool. And the price, what do we got on these here? 169 plus tax and shipping. That's pretty good.
Yep.
That's because
Yep.
the backdrops and stands, you're paying, sometimes what do they run these days? Like $300 sometimes for a backdrop and a stand.
I would say at least, yeah.
Yeah. And so for
And this safe,
protecting, protecting that investment, and providing a good experience when you're at these outdoor events, that piece of security, I'm definitely gonna be ordering one. So, and let me ask you a question. So you have some in stock now, right?
I do, yes. Yep.
Okay.
Got them in stock. Building up an even bigger inventory, because I figure a few people will see this and hopefully want to buy one, and I will have them ready for you.
Yeah, I'm cheering you on, because I like to see these success stories, in innovations that happen, and solving a problem. Even like, for example, when the first pillow backdrops came out, Brian Ginsberg did them. I remember watching him just fumbling on his front driveway, putting it together for the first time. And then that blew up. Looking at Danny Max's story, looking at Danny Brewer's story, just these innovations that come out from normal boothers, it's just an incredible story.
Yep.
So congratulations for building
Thank
something
you.
really cool.
Thank you. And I've got something new in the bag too. I don't know if you.
That's right. Hold on, let me get back to the screen share. Let's go back. So this is something I'm very interested in as well. So let's get to the new indoor backprop. Let's take a look.
I'm looking for a name for it too. Do you like indoor back prop or do you like the wall prop?
I don't know. Maybe some people can chime in. I've got so one Facebook user has just advocated for your backprop. By the way, it says I have one. It's great. Works when I need it. That's perfect.
Awesome.
But yeah, if anybody wants to comment who's watching on Facebook, or even later on, you can comment in the Facebook groups watching this video later or on YouTube. Give it an idea for a name for this new product. So tell us about this product.
So what this is an add-on to the original back prop. So the cool thing is it's going to be cheaper. I haven't set a price yet. I will have some details on this, and I'm hoping to have this released by middle of October. But what this is it's an indoor version. When you set your backdrop up next to a wall somewhere, the biggest problem I see with people is, especially later in the evening when the drinks are flowing and stuff, people are coming through the booth and they're not paying attention and they're like leaning back, and those little legs on the bottom of your bases get snapped.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea was, okay, how do we prevent that? Okay, because there's nothing bracing the top, so that thing moves really easy. Even I put weights, even indoors, I put weights on the bottom bases, but unless you're putting a 200-pound weight on there, and then if they bump into it, they're going to snap it right away. But it's not really going to do much. It's going to move. It's the nature of it. It's got some flex to it.
Yeah,
So
we've got some votes for wall prop. Two of them already. I just posted up those. We got one Facebook
yeah,
user saying wall prop, another one definitely wall prop. Um, let's go to the next picture of this. So this
that's what I was thinking too, because then I don't get them mixed up when somebody says, "Hey, I want one of those." They can say wall prop or back prop, and I was thinking that would be better. Yeah. So the cool thing about this is it uses these grips from the original back prop, and then what you've got is a small section. There's going to be, I think, 3 pieces of tube. There's the ones that go out from that side grip,
mhm.
and then there's a short extension that will go on. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the original pieces that make up the legs. You'll take 5 of those pieces, you'll put them together, and you'll add a short extension to it that makes the full. And the other thing is there will be probably a version for 7.6 and 8 foot. So there will be 2 extensions in there.
Okay. How long does it take to put
You've got.
together?
I'm sorry.
How long does this take to put together?
This one's a lot faster than even the outdoor one. I had this put together and assembled and on the backdrop in 2 to 3 minutes. It was really quick. Yeah, because you're not staking anything into the ground, and I think the biggest time consumer, but there's really no way around it. On the back prop, I've got those lock pins, and the lock pins have to go through the holes
Uh-huh.
in the grips and in the anchor plates. So you got to put those on as well.
Yeah.
This uses no lock pins whatsoever. The
Okay.
entire thing is held together with one giant, what I call a tension cord. It's like a giant rubber band, and it grabs all 4 corners and pulls them together.
So it
So what you get,
stabilizes.
yeah. And then those little round things that you're seeing on there,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't come up with names for everything yet. They're like little padded rollers, and they have like a 1/4 inch of neoprene, automotive neoprene on them,
Yeah.
so that if you put it up against a wall, you're not going to damage the wall at all. You've got padding on there, so
Mm-hmm.
if somebody bumps into it, it's not going to damage the wall.
Yeah, and a lot of venues
Um,
are very protective of their. I mean, some venues won't
yeah.
even let you put gaff tape on the floor. And
Yep.
some
Yep.
venues can be like, I don't want anything touching my walls.
Yeah. I found a few of those. Yeah. This will protect their walls, and the cool thing about it is you can put this anywhere from like the middle of the backdrop all the way up. So, like in this case here, I had a window I had to deal with, so
Mm-hmm.
I put it up above the window, and it worked out just fine. Um, I don't think it's not perfect. It's not going to be. This isn't going to stop somebody from like totally destroying your backdrop,
Right.
If they, if they really, you get somebody up there, 400 pounds and leans into it or something, and really puts all their weight into it, it's not gonna stop that. But it's enough to stabilize it and keep, that movement, so they know, hey, wait, can't do that.
So when do we
And
expect to see this on the site?
this will probably be, I'm thinking mid-October.
Okay. So just in time for
Mid-October. Yeah.
Christmas list, right?
Yeah, right. Well, I know the outdoor season's ending too, so that's the other brilliant thing is everybody's moving indoors. We got to have something for that too. So this is the idea for the indoors.
That's fantastic.
Ed wanted to ask if you could use that bracket to mount like a neon sign on the front of the backdrop.
You mean as far as
I would,
like to hang? Yeah,
yeah,
I don't see why not.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking, looking at it, it looks like you could probably use two little hooks to go around the tubing and then drape right
Yeah,
over to hang your sign.
I'm sure you could. And that was another thing. I don't know how many people actually do that with their photo booths. I don't do the neon sign thing. I mean, it is something I thought about and thought about as far as some sort of a hanging system for your backdrop. I did do last year because I only had 2 holiday parties, and I didn't have the financial means to invest in holiday backdrops, which obviously I didn't do that the year before because there was nothing. Um, I just got mine, by the way, off of the last sale they had. I got my holiday backdrops, but last year I only had 2 events, and I said I got to make it look holiday somehow. So I decorated it myself, and I printed some hooks to hang garland and some lights on, and it worked out great. I had a lot of compliments. It looked really good, but it's also a lot of work to hang that stuff. So I don't know which is better, but it could be done.
Yeah, people have talked about using fishing string. And so, I mean, in all honesty, you probably could tie some string onto the one, drape it over, and then you've got these extra holes here for lower support to pull and straighten it out.
Yeah,
So,
because those are not being used. Those were originally it was originally for a different idea to string the two together, and I found that particular location pulled the grips too much in the
mhm,
wrong direction. So I added the extra area where the hook is now.
that's cool. Awesome. Well, Ed, I want to thank you for coming on the show. This is really cool. I'm going to be placing an order here pretty soon.
Thank you,
I need to get one of those.
Dave.
Most definitely. You know, next week we're gonna have, and I hope you tune in, watch their other videos that
I
are
am
on
going to
YouTube.
watch. Yeah. That's why I asked you. And for anybody who doesn't know, I guess I was maybe the last to know. The videos are on YouTube, which is great because I missed last week, so I get to go back and watch that now.
Yeah, we can watch them at our own leisure, which is great. And so what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna take this video, I'm gonna post it on the blog, post some links to your site so if people want to find out where Backprop is. They can always come to Photo Booth Magazine to find it. You're in the vendor directory there. Wish nothing but success and congratulations on a really cool idea. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
Um, Next week, I do want to let you guys know we are going to be talking SEO. Dave, you're not going to be here next week, so it's just me and Jordan, St. Jacques. Is that correct?
That's it. That's it. I have some pressing something that had just come up, so I will be out of town next Wednesday. So you're on your own.
I'm on my own with Jordan. So for information on Jordan, he speaks a lot. So and he runs a digital agency out of Canada called Digiterra. He speaks at DJX. He speaks at PBX. He is really in the know with everything from to SEO top to bottom. You know, I'm dangerous. I mean, I am also the president of an advertising agency, but I'm more of a hierarchy. Those getting my elbows greased, but enough to be dangerous. So I helped out you, Dave. I mean, I got you ranked number one for your area, but that was pretty low hanging fruit to get you there. Jordan's going to come
Right.
on next week and talk about some of the more advanced things to get people ranked, as well as some easy things too. So, Hope to see you all guys there next week. It'll just be me and Jordan. Ed, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dave, enjoy your week off, so to speak, from
And
the show.
yeah, okay.
So,
Ed,
all right.
thank you so much.
Yep. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. And once again, Backprop is the ultimate thing. It's thebackprop.com. Go check it out and get
Yes.
yourself a backprop for your backdrops. All right, everybody. Have a great Wednesday night. We'll see you next week.